guys, we're walking down the field here. The river's gone down in its banks now, so there's just some slight puddling or ponding on the field, but we're gonna go down and check out and try to see how much we can see today. So this is April 11th. This is 2 days after the main flood, and so come on with us and we'll see what we can see. Here's our first sign of damage. We got the high tensile fence, which is pulled out by the creek with debris. But all we see here is that it pulled off this post and it's stretched out there. So it doesn't look like it's broken. Still connected in, so that's pretty strong wire there. Looks like we got some sinkholes here, probably old gopher holes, but hopefully that flushed a bunch of them out. And this is where the main part of the creek flowed out into the field. Not too bad. There's been lots of silt, so the creek was up this high. I think the river part even came back this far. This is about an inch of like really fine silt and mud. Really slippery. And then got this big branch that's caught in the fence here, but no damage as of yet. The fence is looking really baggy, so I think we're about to come up on some destruction here. And you can see it right there. Our first destruction. So there's our two H-frames and our gate. That used to be here. Looks like a gopher's taken over that hole. And here. And those spots over there. But the wire doesn't look too bad. We may be able to just put that back up. The gate looks fine, it's not bent, so that's good. The river's still really high. Like this back in here normally isn't filled with water. But we'll probably wait to go back in there to see how the creek and the river look back there. Wait till it goes down a bit more. And I know just from what we could see from the other side, all the pictures and videos that we've taken so far have been from the other side. We're basically right in the corner of where the creek flows into the river right here. So this was one of the spots that was pretty much buried underwater. But starting here, looks like this whole run of posts right here has all been bent over. You can see the big gap down there. These posts are all leaning, some are all the way knocked over. And that one came out quite a ways back, but it just looks like it just slid down the wire. So it's pretty strong wire that held all this flow. Lots of debris hung up on this fence. Looks like we have some deer tracks here. And we don't have railroad ties, so that came from somewhere upriver, lodged in our fence. So that is a pile of debris, and there's a post under there. Again, we're in lots of silt here, really soft dirt, which that's not a bad thing necessarily. So it looks like that helped take the fence out over here. And then that post came from that hole right there. And the fence line basically goes along this little road here. And here it is. So mostly from debris that got caught in it. Looks like all the posts just pulled out. Haven't seen a broken one yet. Lots of silt. If there's a post in this mess, it's going to be hard to find. That's one of the locals here in Midvale said the hardest part of recovering from a flood is trying to untangle your fence if you're going to keep it. So we'll have to see how that goes. Luckily with the high tensile you can cut it and splice it back together. So this is too soft to bring anything down here to start working on it. Even walking down here is pretty soft, so lots of silt. So this area right here, where these two posts are down, is a major. This is where the creek flows out when it breaks into the field. So it looks like these posts were pushed the other direction. Really silty here. More deer prints. These posts fared okay. There's some more larger debris. Those posts aren't too bad. They're a little crooked, but they might stay okay. So you can see the direction the river's flowing right there. And then if we look at this, it looks like it was basically going perpendicular to how it is now. So this is a huge corner on the river, and I think basically the river just decided to go straight, and we paid for it. There's another big log, and short, I guess. Lots of debris though. So there's a huge pile of logs and bushes and stuff that didn't used to be there. There's a gully here, connects up to the river. That didn't used to be there. So that's been completely created by the river. Probably the river flowing over that pile of concrete and stuff as it swooped down in here and washed the dirt out. Lots of debris in the fence. These posts look alright though. Okay, so here's a major washout here. So you can see the road, and you can see that next post way down there. I'll stop walking here in just a second. So if I keep walking straight, that's where the road was. So it's funny because last week I had a guy out here from the Natural Resource Conservation Service looking at this very bank because it was starting to erode. But this is huge. So this goes well into the field. It took out our whole road. And this is where the majority of the water was coming in. Right across here. So we got a lot of sand. Hopefully we'll find a gold nugget. That could be a silver lining or a gold lining. So we got one post that stayed. Looks like the wire's kind of twisted. So there was no post in between here. And then just down from here, this H-frame was at a gate. And if I'm not mistaken, here's one of the post holes. And then if we line this up, straight over there to that other post that's left, that was where the fence was, and then we had a road to the left of that. So this whole huge channel is new. The field used to go all the way to those bushes there, and basically straight across this gap to those trees. So this whole area is a new channel, and I'm sure once the river drops down, this will be all gravel down there because there's not very much topsoil up here. But this is something we'll have to see, you know, if the natural resources conservation people can do anything about. We got a trail of erosion out into the field there. Or that's probably where a log scraped. There was a couple of huge logs out here. So we're missing that gate from that pile there. It was a 4-foot gate. So this is still going to keep eroding till the river goes down a lot further. We got a tire out there. Lots of clumps. So you can see how much dirt was eroded here. So this is an alfalfa plant. And here's a root. So, you know, this took off 2 to 3 inches of topsoil right here, the main area where the river came in. Yep, there's a bunch of uprooted alfalfa there. That may be another fence post hole. This is all severely eroded. And looks like we got some new rocks. So these are all brand new rocks. They didn't used to be here. A lone post. It's been twisted, all the staples are ripped out of it. So you can see right here, if we look back, this is the level of the old road right here. And you can see how tall that pile of rocks is. So that's a good, from this low point right here, maybe 2 feet. Got some gravel, I guess. A couple of sandbars. This part down here was all underwater just yesterday. Ooh, there's a hole. Probably a post hole. So this is where we had some of those mason bee, or leaf cutter bee boxes. This doesn't look all that much different here. We already had a lot of gravel. Maybe lost a bunch more of it or got pushed further down. I think on normal years, this is where the river comes in. So just before the flooding got really bad, we had about a foot of water running through here, and that would have been fine. It basically cuts across the field and then flows out toward the end down there. But once the floodwaters hit, that was this little spot right here is the least of our concerns. And it's all, I mean, it's all encased in gravel right here, so not a lot that could happen to it. So all of this rock that's out here is new. So that's all been deposited by the flood. And again, all along here where we've been walking, there should be a fence. So you can see how much this is eroded. There's the alfalfa roots sticking up, a good 4 to 6 inches here. So we lost that much topsoil here. I'm not sure how good the alfalfa will survive sticking up that high, if it'll grow back or not. Their roots are 6 feet deep, but they might be susceptible to disease or bugs or something. So look at this, a big eroded hole. That's about 12 inches there, that's eroded. Lots of rock out in the field. This obviously wasn't here before. Looks like we got someone else's fence posts. This is a full tree. So this bank has seen some erosion. You can see some alfalfa plants out there. And obviously we didn't plant alfalfa out there, so we've lost a section of field here. Maybe, I guess, several feet. That clump of dirt there, I think, used to be the edge of the field. Because there was a gap between our field and those bushes there. Not this big a gap though. So down toward this end here, there was a 12-foot gate. It's gone. And we did see a gate bobbing around on top of some debris in the middle of the flood, but we didn't see it yesterday when we came down here. So we may have a gate down at the bottom of the river. Maybe once the waters go down, we'll see it. We can collect it again. There is one gate down here on one of the piles of debris that I saw. Not sure which one it is, the 4-footer or the 12-footer. I mean, this bank is severely eroded. I would say right in this spot, the river is probably about twice as wide as it used to be. Got a big gully there around this bush, didn't used to be there. You can see how much of a beating these willows took. Lots of silt out here. I mean, this, you didn't used to be able to walk out here. This had, I mean, this was all packed out with vegetation. We so finally made it down to one of the log jams here, and just a billion fence posts in this log jam. And we did find one of our gates here. It looks pretty much undamaged. Still haven't seen any high tensile wire broken. We're down at the bottom end of the lower field here where the river ran back out into its channel. Tons of sand built up. Big holes dug. And then over here you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but our fence goes out that away. And you can see it in this pile here. There's one strand there, another strand up here, a couple of strands in there. So I don't know how many posts are in there. But here's the pile. Starts here on this end, goes all the way down there. Some huge timbers in here. And then here's the rest of part of our fence, making a nice high tensile suspension bridge that goes all the way across this water hole. And there it is right there. Goes into this huge pile. And you can see there's another big pile right there. I mean, some of those logs are a couple feet in diameter. And then most of our fence that we've found is there in this big pile. So that's our 4-foot gate that's sticking up there, and then it's all wrapped around like a 3-foot diameter log that must have taken it out. So that was floating in there at some point. You can't really see the log, it's that light colored log back in there. And then we got, the fence basically goes almost straight out to the river from here, and then over on this side, the fence that used to be over here. So this little spot right here where this little water's flowing is the corner. That's a hole where a fence post used to be. There's another one. And here's our fence, part of it. And it basically just goes straight out to the river out there. And I assume it must come over and connect back in with this pile somewhere. But unfortunately there hasn't been any broken wire, so it's going to be hard to pull out of there all tangled together. But you can see all the debris up in the trees up there. So those trees were all bent down. You can see how deep it was on this tree. There's debris well over my head. And then if we look back toward the field, so there's the fence wire coming in over there, and then it's all wrapped in debris right here, and then ta-da, there's a post. and then it's all wrapped in debris, and then you can see it going up there, and then I wager that it goes back. You can see that light log and some of our posts there. I think it goes back over there. So I think our big gate is probably somewhere on the other side. And here's our gate. Maybe we can drag it out of there. We'll see. Right now, the river's just right below me right here. So the gate is still out over the river. But we saw it bobbing on a pile of debris a while back when it was really high. So maybe we can get that out of there. Here's the last surviving bit of our fence on the west side of the property. So basically from where that gate attached all the way down, the fence got taken out. But all the rest of this held. This was completely submerged. I took a picture, or some of the video that you saw from over there, right down by that T-post there, and we couldn't see any of these posts. Even up this way, couldn't see any of the posts. So if it didn't get taken out by big trees, lots of debris, it held pretty good. So this whole side held up pretty good. Just has lots of debris on it, a couple of leaning posts, but other than that, it did well. Mostly submerged down here. So another thing that we've noted is that this side of the field is mostly grass and canary grass, and you can see how well it held. There's erosion in between a little bit, and then over here where it's more sparse, a bit more erosion. But the grass held a lot better than the alfalfa did. So that's the extent of the damage down there on the lower field where the river came in. And we haven't decided yet if we're going to put the fence back up and take the chance of it coming down again in another flood. I think we're leaning toward putting it back up, just because historically it looks like it doesn't happen all that often, but we need to use that field for grazing, so we'll probably end up putting it back up. But we need to start cleaning up down there pretty soon. So hopefully we'll be able to fix that field at some point, and we'll just see what nature does. Thanks for watching.